good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming to our special dress rehearsal of OSU English and the Lord Denney's Players production of William Shakespeare's Richard II. That's a mouthful. It's at this time that I want to ask you all to make sure that your cell phones are silenced or turned off. Texting during the show is prohibited, as is any form of photography, as it could be distracting to our actors when they're on the stage. I want to let you know that tonight's show will be, for our first half, about 1 hour. We will have a 15-minute intermission, and our second half will be another 1 hour approximately. So, thank you for coming. I hope you enjoy the show. I don't want to say enjoy twice, but enjoy Richard II.
Old John of Gaunt, time-honored Lancaster, hast thou, according to thy oath and band, brought hither Henry Hereford, thy bold son, here to make good the boisterous late appeal against the Duke of Norfolk, Thomas Mowbray?
I have, my liege.
Tell me, moreover, hast thou sounded him if he appealed the Duke on ancient malice, or worthily, as a good subject should, on some known ground of treachery in him?
On some apparent danger seen in him aimed at your highness, no inveterate malice.
Then call them to our presence, and frowning brow to brow, ourselves will hear the accuser and the accused freely speak. Many years of happy days befall my gracious sovereign, my most loving liege.
Each day shall better others' happiness, till the heavens and the earth could have added immortal title to your crown.
We thank you both. If one but flatters us, as well appeareth by the cause you come, namely to appeal each other of high treason. Cousin of Hereford, what dost thou object against the Duke of Norfolk, Thomas Mowbray?
First heaven be the record of my speech. In the devotion of a subject's love come I appellate to this prince in presence.
Now, Thomas Mowbray, do I turn to thee. With a foul traitor's name stuff I thy throat, in wish, so please my sovereign, ere I move, what my tongue speaks, my right drawn sword may prove.
Let not my cold words here accuse my zeal. The blood is hot that must be cooled for this. The fair reverence of your highness curbs me from giving reins and spurs to my free speech. Setting aside his high blood's royalty, I do defy him, and I spit at him, call him a slanderous coward and a villain. Meantime, let this defend my loyalty. By all my hopes, was falsely doth he lie.
Pale, trembling coward! There I throw my gage, disclaiming here the kindred of the king, and lay aside my high blood's royalty. If guilty dread have left thee so much strength as to take up mine honor's pawn, then stoop. By that and all the rights of knighthood else will I make good against thee. Arm to arm, what I have spoke, or thou canst worse devise.
Take it up. By that sword I swear, which gently laid my knighthood on my shoulder, I'll answer thee. Any fair decree or chivalrous design of knightly trial. And when I mount, a live man I'd light if I be traitor or unjustly fight.
What doth our cousin lay to Mowbray's charge? It must be great that can inherit us so much as of a thought of ill in him.
Look what I speak, my life shall prove it true.
That all the treasons for these 18 years, complotted and contrived in this land, fetched from false Mowbray, their first head in spring. Further I say, and further will maintain, that he did plot the Duke of Gloucester's death, and consequently, like a traitor, coward, sluiced out his innocent soul through streams of blood, which blood, like sacrificing Abel's, cries, even from the tongueless caverns of the earth to me for justice and rough chastisement. And by the glorious worth of my descent, this arm shall do it, or this life be spent. How high a pitch his resolution soars. Thomas of Norfolk, what sayest thou to this?
Let my sovereign turn away his face. Bid his ears a little while be deaf. Till I told the slander of his blood, of God, and good men, he's a foul liar.
Mowbray, impartial are our eyes and ears. Were he my brother, nay, my kingdom's heir, as he is but my father's brother's son. Now by my scepter's awe I make a vow. Such neighbor nearness to our sacred blood should nothing privilege him, nor partialize the unstooping firmness of my upright soul. Free speech and fearless I to thee allow.
And Bolingbroke, as low as thy heart, through the false passage of thy throat thou liest, For Gloucester's death I slew him not, but to my own disgrace neglected my sworn duty in that case. This is my fault. As to the rest appealing, this is from the rancor of a villain, a recreant and most degenerate traitor, which in myself I boldly will defend, and interchangeably hurl down my gage upon this overweening traitor's foot, to prove myself a loyal gentleman, even in the best blood chambered in his bosom. Haste rub most heartily, I pray, your highness to assign our trial.
Wrath-kindled gentlemen, be ruled by me. Forget, forgive. Conclude and be agreed. Good uncle, let this end where it begun. We'll calm the Duke of Norfolk, you your son.
To be a makepeace shall become my age. Throw down, my son, the Duke of Norfolk's gage.
And Norfolk, throw down his.
When, Harry, when? Obedience bids, I should not bid again.
Norfolk, throw down we bid, there is no boot.
Myself I throw, dread sovereign, at thy foot. My life thou shalt command, but not my shame. I am disgraced, impeached, and baffled here, pierced to the soul with slander's venom spear, the which no balm can cure, but his heart blood which breathed this poison.
Rage must be withstood. Give me his gage. Lions make leopards tame.
Yea, but not change his spots. Take but my shame, and I resign my gage. My dear, dear Lord, the purest treasure mortal times afford a spotless reputation. That away, men are but gilded loam, or painted clay. My honor is my life, both grow in one. Take honor from me, my life is done. Then, dear, my liege, my honor let me try. In that I live, for that will I die.
Cousin, throw up your gage. Do you begin? Oh, God defend my soul from such deep sin. Shall I seem crestfallen in my father's sight, or with pale beggar fear impeach my height before this outdared dastard? Ere my tongue shall wound my honor with such feeble wrong, or sound so base a parle, my teeth shall tear the slavish motive of recanting fear, and spit it bleeding in his high disgrace where shame doth harbor, even in Mowbray's face. We were not born to sue, but to command. Which since we cannot do to make your friends, be ready as your lives shall answer it at Coventry upon St. Lambert's Day. Since we cannot atone you, we shall see justice design the victor's chivalry. Lord Marshal, command our officers at arms. Be ready to direct these home alarms.
Alas, the part I had in Gloucester's blood doth more solicit me than your exclaims to move against the butchers of his life. But since correction lieth in the hands of those that made the fault that we cannot correct, put we our quarrel in the will of heaven, which when they see the hours ripe on earth will rain hot vengeance on the offenders' heads.
Finds brotherhood in thee no sharper spur, and love in thy old blood no living fire. Edward's 7 sons, whereof thyself art one, were as 7 vials of his sacred blood. Some of those 7 are dried by nature's course, some of the 7 by the destinies cut. But Thomas, my dear Lord, my life, my Gloucester, one vial full of Edward's sacred blood is cracked, and all the precious liquor spilt by envy's hand and murder's bloody axe. Oh God, that blood was thine, and though thou livest and breathes, yet art thou slain in him. Call it not patience. God, it is despair. In suffering thus thy brother to be slaughtered, thou showst the naked pathway to thy life, teaching stern murder how to butcher thee, that which in mean men we entitle patience is pale, cold cowardice in noble breasts. What shall I say? To safeguard thine own life, the surest way is venge my Gloucester's death.
God's is the quarrel. For God's substitute, his deputy anointed in his sight, hath caused his death. The which if wrongfully, let heaven revenge. for I may never lift an angry arm against his minister.
Where then, alas, may I complain myself?
To God, the widow's champion and defence.
Why then, I will. Farewell, old Gaunt. Thou goest to Coventry there to behold our cousin Hereford in fell Mowbray fight. Set my husband's wrongs on Hereford's spear, that it may enter butcher Mowbray's breast. Farewell, old Gaunt. Thou sometime brother's wife, and her companion grief must end her life.
Sister, farewell. I must to Coventry. As much good stay with thee as go with me.
Commend me to thy brother, Edmund York. Though this is all. Nay, yet, depart not so. Though this be all, you must so quickly go.
Lord Marshal, demand of yonder knight in arms both who he is and why he cometh hither. Ask him his name and orderly proceed to swear him in the justice of his cause.
In God's name and the king's, say who thou art, and why thou comest thus knightly clad in arms, against what man thou comest, and what thy quarrel.
My name is Thomas Mowbray, Duke of Norfolk, who hither come engaged by my oath, both to defend my loyalty and truth to God, my king, and my succeeding issue, against the Duke of Hereford that appeals me here, and to prove him, by the grace of God, in this my arm a traitor to my God, my king, and me, and as I truly fight, defend me heaven.
Marshal, ask yonder knight in arms both who he is and why he cometh hither.
What is thy name, and wherefore comest thou hither before King Richard in his royal lists?
Harry of Hereford, Lancaster, and Derby am I, who ready here do stand in arms to prove by God's grace and my body's valor in lists on Thomas Mowbray, Duke of Norfolk, that he is a traitor, foul and dangerous to God of heaven, King Richard, and to me, and as I truly fight, defend me heaven. My Lord Marshal, let me kiss my sovereign's hand and bow my knee before his majesty, for Mowbray and myself are like two men that vow a long and weary pilgrimage. Then let us take ceremonious leave and loving farewell of our several friends.
The appellant in all duty greets your highness, craves to kiss your hand and take his leave.
Cousin of Hereford, as thy cause is right, so be thy fortune in this royal fight. Farewell, my blood, which if today thou shed, lament we may, but not revenge thee dead.
Oh, let no noble eye profane a tear for me, if I be gored with Mowbray's spear. As confident as is the falcon's flight against a bird, do I with Mowbray fight. My loving lord, I take my leave of you. O thou, the earthly author of my blood, add proof unto mine armor with thy prayers and with thy blessings. Steel my lance's point, that it may enter Mowbray's waxen coat, and furbish new the name of John of Gaunt, even in the lusty behavior of his son.
God, in thy just cause make thee prosperous. Be swift as lightning in the execution, and may thy blows, doubly redoubled, fall like amazing thunder on the casque of thy adverse, pernicious enemy. Rouse up thy youthful blood, be valiant, and live.
Mine innocence and St. George to thrive.
However God or fortune casts my lot, there lives or dies true to King Richard's throne, a loyal, just, and upright gentleman. Most mighty liege and my companion peers, take from my mouth the wish of happy years.
Farewell, my lord. Securely I espy virtue with valor couched in thine eye. Order the trial, Marshal, and begin.
Sound trumpets and set forth, combatants. Stay! The king hath thrown his water down.
Let them lay by their helmets and their spears and both return back to their chairs again. Withdraw with us, and let the trumpets sound while we return these dukes what we decree. Draw near, and list what with our counsel we have done. For that our kingdom's earth should not be soiled with that dear blood which it hath fostered. And for we think the eagle-winged pride of sky-aspiring and ambitious thoughts with rival-hating envy set on you to wake our peace, which even in our country's cradle draws the sweet infant breath of gentle sleep, and make us wade even in our kindred's blood. Therefore we banish you our territories. You, cousin of Hereford, upon pain of life, until twice 5 summers have enriched our fields, shall not regreet our fair dominions, but tread the stranger paths of banishment.
Your will be done. This must my comfort be. The sun that warms you here shall shine on me, and those his golden beams to you here lent shall point on me and gild my banishment.
Norfolk, for thee remains a heavier doom, which I with some unwillingness pronounce. The sly, slow hours shall not determinate the dateless limit of thy dear exile. The hopeless word of never to return breathe I against thee, upon pain of life.
Heavy sentence, my most sovereign liege, and all unlooked for from your highness' mouth. A dearer merit, not so deep a maim as to be cast forth in the common air if I deserved at your highness' hands. The language I have learned these 40 years, my native English, must I now forego? What is thy sentence then but speechless death, which robs my tongue of breathing native breath?
It boots thee not to be compassionate. After our sentence, plaining comes too late.
And thus I turn me from my country's light, dwell in solemn shades of endless night.
Return again, and take an oath with thee. Lay on our royal sword your banished hands. Swear by the duty that you owe to God, our part therein we banish with yourselves to keep the oath that we administer. You never shall, so help you truth and God, embrace each other's love in banishment, nor never look upon each other's face, nor never write, re-greet, nor reconcile this lowering tempest of your homebred hate, nor never by advised purpose mean to plot, contrive, or complot any ill against us, our state, our subjects, or our lands. I swear.
And I keep all this.
Norfolk, confess that treasons are thy flight around, since thou hast far to go, bear not along the clogging burden of a guilty soul.
Bolingbroke, if ever I were traitor, my name be blotted from the book of life, and I from heaven banished as from hence. But what thou art, God thou and I do know, and all too soon I fear the king shall prove.
Uncle, even in the glasses of thine eye I see thy grieved heart. Thy sad aspect hath from the number of his banished years plucked 4 away. 6 frozen winters spent, return with welcome home from banishment.
How long a time lies in one little word? 4 flagging winters and 4 wan springs, and in a word, such is the breath of kings.
I thank my lord that in regard of me he shortens 4 years of my son's exile, but little vantage shall I reap thereby. For ere the 6 years that he hath to spend can change their moons or bring their times about, my inch of taper will be burnt and gone, and blindfold death not let me see my son.
Why, uncle, thou hast many years to live.
But not a minute, king, that thou canst give. Shorten my days thou canst with sullen sorrow, and pluck nights from me, but not lend a morrow. Thou canst help time to furrow me with age, but stop no wrinkle in his pilgrimage. Thy word is current with him for my death, but dead, Thy kingdom cannot buy my breath.
Thy son is banished upon good advice, whereto thy tongue a party verdict gave. Why at our justice seemst thou then to lour?
Things sweet in taste prove in digestion sour. You urge me as a judge, but I had rather that you had bid me argue like a father. Oh, had it been some stranger, not my child. To soothe his fault I would have been more mild. A partial scandal sought I to avoid, and in the sentence my own life destroyed.
Cousin, farewell. And uncle, bid him so. 6 years we banish him, and he shall go.
Cousin, farewell. What presents must not know, from where you do remain let paper show.
My lord, no leave take I, for I will ride as far as land will let me by your side.
What purpose dost thou hoard thy words, that thou returnst no greeting to thy friends?
I have too few to take my leave of you, when the tongue's office should be prodigal to breathe the abundant dolour of the heart.
Your grief is but an absence for a time.
Joy absent, grief is present for that time.
What are 6 winters? They are quickly gone.
To men enjoy, but grief makes 1 hour 10.
Call it a travel that thou takes for pleasure. All places that the eye of heaven visits unto a wise man, ports and pleasant havens. Teach thy necessity to reason thus. There is no virtue like necessity. Think not the king did banish thee, but thou the king. Or suppose I sent thee forth to purchase honour, not that the king exiled thee. Or say, devouring pestilence hangs in our air, and thou art fleeing to a safer clime.
Oh, who can hold a fire in his hand by thinking on the frosty carcasses, or cloy the hungry edge of appetite by bare imagination of a feast? Oh no, apprehension of the good gives but greater feeling to the worse.
Come, my son, I'll bring thee on thy way. Had I thy youth and cause, I would not stay.
Then, England's ground, farewell. Sweet soil, adieu. My mother and my nurse that bears me yet. Where I wander, boast of this I can. Though banished, yet a true-born Englishman. On his way.
I brought High Hereford, if you call him so, but to the next highway, and there I left him.
What said our cousin when you parted with him?
Farewell. Mary, would the word farewell have lengthened hours and added years to his short banishment, he should have had a volume of farewells. But since it would not, he had none of me.
He is our cousin, but 'tis doubt when time should call him home from banishment if our kinsman come to see his friends. Ourself and Bushy, bagged here in green, did observe his courtship to the common people, how he did seem to dive into their hearts with humble and familiar courtesy, wooing poor craftsmen with the craft of smiles. A brace of draymen bid God speed him well, and had the tribute of his supple knee with thanks, my countrymen, my loving friends, as if our England were in reverse of his, and he our subjects' next degree in hope.
Well, he is gone. With him go these thoughts. Now, for the rebels which stand out of Ireland, expedient manage must be made, my liege, ere further leisure yield them further means for their advantage, and your highness loss.
We will ourselves in person to this war. And for our coffers with too great a court and liberal largesse are grown somewhat light, we are enforced to farm our royal realm, the revenue whereof shall furnish us for our affairs in hand. If that comes short, Our substitutes at home shall have blank charters, whereto, when they know what men are rich, they shall subscribe them for large sums of gold, for we will make for Ireland presently. Bushy, what news?
Old John of Gaunt is grievous sick, my lord, suddenly taken, and hath sent post haste to entreat your majesty to visit him.
Now put it, God, in the physician's mind, to help him to his grave immediately. The linings of his coffers shall make coats to deck our soldiers for these Irish wars. Come, gentlemen, let's all go visit him. Pray God we may make haste and come too late.
Amen.
Will the king come, that I may breathe my last in wholesome counsel to his unstayed youth?
Vex not yourself, nor strive not with your breath, for in vain comes counsel to his ear.
But they say the tongues of dying men enforce attention like deep harmony. Where words are scarce, they are seldom spent in vain. They breathe the truth that breathe their words in pain. Though Richard my life's counsel would not hear, my death's sad tale may yet undeaf his ear.
No, it is stopped with other flattering sounds as praises, of whose taste the wise are fond, lascivious speakers, to whose venom sound the opener of youth doth always listen. And all too late comes counsel to be heard, where will doth mutiny with wit's regard. Direct not him whose way himself will choose, whose breath thou lackst, and that breath wilt thou lose.
Methinks I am a prophet, new inspired, and thus expiring, do foretell of him his rash, fierce blaze of riot cannot last, for violent fires soon burn out themselves. With eager feeding, food doth choke the feeder. Light vanity, insatiate cormorant, consuming means doth prey upon itself. This royal throne of kings, this sceptred isle, this earth of majesty, this seat of Mars, this other Eden, demi-paradise, this fortress built by nature for herself against infection and the hand of war, this happy breed of men, this little world, this precious stone set in a silver sea that serves it in the office of a wall or as a moat defensive to a house against the envy of less happier lands, this blessed plot, this earth, this realm, this England, this land of such dear souls, this dear, dear land, dear for her reputation to the world, is now leased out. I die pronouncing it, like to a tenement or pelting farm. England, bound in with the triumphant seas whose rocky shores beat back the envious siege of watering Neptune, is now bound in with shame, with inky blots and rotten parchment bonds. That England that was wont to conquer others hath made a shameful conquest of itself. Oh, with the scandal vanished with my life, how happy then were my ensuing death.
His son deal mildly with his youth, the young hot coals when rain raged the more.
How fares our noble Uncle Lancaster?
What comfort, man? How is't with aged Gaunt?
Oh, how that name befits my composition. Old Gaunt indeed, and Gaunt in being old. Within me grief hath kept a tedious fast, and who abstains from meat that is not gaunt? For sleeping England, long time have I watching grief's leanness is all gaunt. The pleasure that some fathers feed upon as my strict fast, I mean my children's looks, and therein fasting hast thou made me gaunt.
Can sick men play so nicely with their names?
Oh, misery makes sport to mock itself. I mock my name, great king, to flatter thee.
Should dying men flatter with those that live?
Oh no, men living flatter those that die.
I am in health. I breathe and see thee ill.
Now he that made me knows I see thee ill. Thy deathbed is no lesser than thy land, wherein thou liest in reputation sick. And thou, too careless, patient as thou art, committ'st thy anointed body to the cure of those physicians that first wounded thee. 1,000 flatterers sit within thy crown, whose compass is no bigger than thy head. Oh, had thy grandsire with a prophet's eye seen how his son's son should destroy his sons, from forth thy reach he would have laid thy shame, deposing thee before thou wert possessed, which art possessed now, to depose thyself. Why, cousin, wert thou regent of the world, it were a shame to let this land by lease. Landlord of England art thou, not king. Thy state of law is bondslave to the law. And thou,
lunatic, lean-witted fool, presuming on an egg-use privilege, darest with thy frozen admonition make pale our cheek, chasing our sacred blood with fury from his native residence. Now by my seat's right royal majesty, were thou not brother to great Edward's son, this tongue that runs so roundly in thy head should run thy head from thy unreverent shoulders.
Spare me not, my brother Edward's son, because I was his father Edward's son. That blood already, like a pelican, hast thou tapped out and drunkenly caroused. My brother Gloucester, plain well-meaning soul, may be a precedent and witness good that thou regardst not spilling Edward's blood. Live in thy shame, but die not shame with thee. These words hereafter thy tormentors be. Convey me to my bed, then to my grave. Lovely to live that love and honour have,
And let them die that age and sullens have. For both hast thou, and both become the grave.
I do beseech your majesty, impute his words to wayward sickliness and age in him. He loves you, O my life, and holds you dear as Harry, Duke of Hereford, were he here.
Right, you say true. As Hereford's love, so his. As theirs, so mine, and all be as it is.
My liege, old Gaunt commends him to your majesty.
What says he?
Nay, nothing. All is said. His tongue is now a stringless instrument. Words, life, and all, old Gaunt has spent.
The oath the next that must be bankrupt, so. If death be poor, it ends a mortal woe.
The ripest fruit first falls, and so doth he. His time is spent. Our pilgrimage must be. So much for that. Now for our Irish wars. And for these great affairs do ask some charge. Towards our assistance, we seize to us the plate, coin, revenues, and movables whereof our Uncle Gaunt did stand possessed.
How long shall I be patient? How long shall tender duty make me suffer wrong? Gloucester's death, nor Hereford's banishment, nor Gaunt's rebukes, nor England's private wrongs have ever made me sour my patient cheek, or bend one wrinkle on my sovereign's face. I am the last noble Edward's sons, of whom his father, Prince of Wales, was first. Face he has, for even so looked he, but when he frowned, it was against the French, and not against his friends. His noble hand did win what he did spend, and spent not that which his triumphant father's hand had won. His hands were guilty of no kindred blood, but bloody with the enemies of his kin. Oh, Richard, you're just too far gone with grief, or else he never would compare between.
Why, Uncle, what's the matter?
Oh, my liege,
Pardon me, if you please. Seek you to seize and grip into your hands the royalties and rights of banished Hereford? Is not God dead, and doth not Hereford live? Was not God just, and is not Harry true? Did not the one deserve to have an heir, and is not his heir a well-deserving son? Be not thyself, for how art thou a king, but through fair sequence and succession? If you do wrongfully seize Hereford's rights, you pluck 1,000 dangers on your head. You lose 1,000 well-disposed hearts, and prick my tender patience to those thoughts which honour and allegiance cannot think.
Think what you will. We seize into our hands his plate, his goods, his money, and his lands.
I'll not be by the while. My liege, farewell. What will ensue hereof there's none can tell, but by bad courses may be understood that their events can never fall out good.
Tomorrow next we will for Ireland. It is time, I trow. We create in absence of ourselves our Uncle York, Lord Governor of England. He is just, and always loved us well. Come, our Queen. Tomorrow must we part. Be merry, for our time of stay is short.
Well, lords, the Duke of Lancaster's dead.
Living too, for now his son is due.
Barely entitled, not in revenues.
Richly in both, justice had her right.
My heart is great, but it must break with silence ere it be disburdened with a liberal tongue.
Nay, speak thy mind.
Tends that thou wouldst speak with the Duke of Hereford? If it be so, out with it boldly, man. Quick is my ear to hear of good towards him.
No good at all that I can do for him, unless you call it good to pity him, bereft and gelded of his patrimony.
Now, Lord God, to shape such wrongs are born in him, a royal prince, and many more of noble blood in this declining land. The king is not himself, but basely led by flatterers, and what they will inform merely in hate against any of us all, that will the king severely prosecute against us, our lives, our children, and our heirs.
Commons hath he pilled with grievous taxes, and quite lost their hearts. The nobles hath he fined for ancient quarrels, and quite lost their hearts.
The daily new exactions are devised.
War hath not wasted it, for war he hath not, but basely yielded upon compromise that which his noble ancestors achieved with blows. He has spent more in peace than they in war.
The king grown bankrupt like a broken man.
Reproach and dissolution hangeth over his head.
He hath not money for these Irish wars. His burden is taxation notwithstanding, but by the robbing of the banished duke.
His noble kinsman, most degenerate king.
Then, let us share thy thoughts as thou dost ours. Be confident to speak, my brother.
Then thus, I received intelligence. Harry, Duke of Hereford, Reynold Lord Common, and his brother, Archbishop Lake of Canterbury, are thus well furnished by the Duke of Brittany with 8 tall ships. 3,000 men of war are making hither with all due expedience, and shortly meet to touch our northern shore. Perhaps they did ere this, but they stay awaiting the departing of the king for Ireland. If then we shall shake off our slavish yokes. If out our drooping country's broken wheel, redeemed from broken pawn, broke the blemished crown, wipe off the dust that hides our scepter's guilt, and make high majesty look like itself. Away with me and post to Ravensburg.
The horse, who sounds to them in here?
Sad. You promised when you parted with the king to lay aside your life-harming heaviness and entertain a cheerful disposition.
To please the king I did. To please myself I cannot do it. Yet I know no cause why I should welcome such a guest as grief, save bidding farewell to so sweet a guest as my sweet Richard. Yet again methinks some unborn sorrow ripe in fortune's womb is coming toward me, and my inward soul with nothing trembles.
Each substance of a grief hath 20 shadows, which look like grief itself, but is not so. For sorrow's eyes, glazed with blinding tears, divides one thing entire into many objects. Like perspectives, which, rightly gazed upon, show nothing but confusion. Our eye distinguish form. Then thrice gracious queen, more than your lord's departure, weep not. More is not seen, or if it be, 'tis with false sorrow's eyes, which for things true weeps things imaginary.
It may be so, but yet my inward soul persuades me it is otherwise. Howe'er it be, I cannot but be sad.
God save your majesty. I hope the king is not yet shipped for Ireland.
Why hopest thou so? 'Tis better hope he is, for his designs crave haste, his haste good hope. Then wherefore dost thou hope he is not shipped?
The banished Bolingbroke repeals himself, and with uplifted arms is safe arrived at Ravenspur. God in heaven forbid.
Ah, madam, 'tis too true, and that is worse. The Lord Northumberland, Willoughby, Exton, and all their powerful friends are fled to him.
Why have you not declared Northumberland and all the rest revolted faction traitors?
We have, whereupon the Earl of Worcester hath broken his staff, resigned his stewardship, and all his household servants fled with him to Bolingbroke.
So grieve. Thou art the midwife to my woe, and Bolingbroke my sorrow's dismal heir.
Spare not, madam.
Who shall hinder me? I will despair and be at enmity with causating hope. He is a flatterer, a parasite, a keeper back of death, who gently will dissolve the bands of life which false hope lingers in extremity.
Here comes the Duke of York,
with signs of war about his aged neck. Oh, full of careful business are his looks. Uncle, for God's sake, speak comfortable words.
Should I do so, I should belie my thoughts. Comfort's in heaven, and we are on the earth. Here my left. Your husband, he is gone to stay far off, while others come to make him lose at home. Here am I left to underprop his land, while others come to... Here am I left to underprop his land, who weak with age cannot support myself. Now comes the sick hour that his servant made. Now he shall try his friends that flattered him.
My lord, your son was gone before I came.
He was? Why, so go all which way it will. The nobles they are fled, the commons they are cold, and will I fear revolt on Hereford's side? Sarah, get thee to my sister Gloucester. Bid her send me presently £1,000. Hold, take my ring.
My lord, I had forgotten to tell your lordship. Today as I came by, I called there, but I shall grieve you to report the rest.
What is't, knave?
An hour before I came, the Duchess died.
God, for his mercy, what a tide of woe comes rushing on this woeful land at once. I don't know what to do. I would to God, Godfellow, get thee home, provide some carts, and bring away the armour that is there. Both are my kinsmen. One is my sovereign, whom both my oath and duty bids defend. Other again is my kinsman, whom the king hath wronged, whom conscience and my kindred bids to right. But somewhat we must sue. Come, cousin, I'll dispose of you. Gentlemen, go muster up your men and meet me presently at Berkeley.
The wind sets fair for moves to go for Ireland, but none returns. For us to levy power proportionable to the enemy is all impossible.
Besides, our nearness to the king in love is near the hate of those that love not the king.
That is the wavering commons, for their love lies in their purses, and whoso empties it by so much fills their heart with deadly hate.
Wherein the king stands generally condemned.
Well, I will for refuge straight to Bristol Castle.
Thither will I with you, for little office the hateful commons perform for us, except like curs to tear us all to pieces. Will you go along with us?
No, I will to our Welsh forces. Farewell. For if hard presages be not vain, we three here part that ne'er shall meet again.
Well, farewell at once. For once, for all, and ever.
Well, we may meet again.
I fear me never.
How far is it, my lord, to Berkeley now?
There stands the castle by yon tuft of trees. Command with 300 men, as I have heard, and in it are the lords of York, Berkeley, and Seymour. Here comes Lords Exeter and Lilly, bloody with spur and fiery red with haste.
Welcome, my lords. I wot your love pursues a banished traitor. All my treasury is yet but unfelt thanks, which, more enriched, shall be your love and labor's recompense.
Presence makes us rich, most noble lord, and far surmounts all labor to attain it.
Evermore thanks, the exchequer of the poor, which, till my infant fortune comes to years, stands for my bounty. But who comes here? My noble uncle.
Show me thy humble heart and not thy knee, whose duty is deceivable and false.
My gracious uncle.
Tut tut! Grace me no grace, no uncle me no uncle. None ungracious mouth is but profane. Why have those banished and forbidden legs dared once to touch a dust of England's ground? But then more why? Why have they dared to march so many miles upon her peaceful bosom, frighting her pale-faced villages with war and ostentation of despised arms? Comest thou because the anointed king is hence? Why, foolish boy, the king is left behind, and in my loyal bosom lies his power.
As I was banished Hereford. But as I come for Lancaster, and, noble uncle, I beseech your grace, look on my wrongs with an indifferent eye. You are my father, for methinks in you I see old Gaunt alive. Oh, then my father, will you permit I should stand condemned a wandering vagabond, my rights and royalties plucked from my arms perforce and given away to upstart unthrifts? Wherefore was I born? If that my cousin king be king in England, it must be granted I am Duke of Lancaster. My father's goods are all distrained and sold. What would you have me do? I am a subject and I challenge law. Attorneys are denied me, and therefore personally I lay my claim to my inheritance of free descent.
The noble Duke hath been too much abused.
Stand your grace upon to do him right.
My lords of England, let me tell you this. I have had feeling of my cousin's wrong, and laboured all I could to do him right. But in this kind to come, in braving arms, be his own carver, and cut out his way to find out right with wrong? It may not be. And you that do abet him in this kind, cherish rebellion and are rebels all.
The noble Duke has sworn his coming is but for his own, and for that right we have all strongly sworn to give him aid.
Well, I see the issue of these arms. I cannot mend it. I must needs confess, because my power is weak and all ill left. But if I could, by him that gave me life, I would attach you all and make you stoop unto the sovereign mercy of the king. Since I cannot, be it known unto you, I do remain as neuter. So fare you well. Unless you please to enter in the castle and there repose you for this night.
An offer, uncle, that we will accept. But we must win your grace to go with us to Bristow Castle, which they say is held by Bushy, Green, and their accomplices, the caterpillars of the Commonwealth, which I have sworn to weed and pluck away.
Maybe I will go with you. But yet I'll pause, for I am loath to break our country's laws.
My lord, we have stayed 10 days and hardly kept our countrymen together, yet we hear no tidings from the king. Therefore we will disperse ourselves. Farewell.
Stay yet another day, thou trusty Welshman.
'Tis thought the king is dead. We will not stay. Farewell.
Oh, Richard, with the eyes of heavy mind, I see thy glory, like a shooting star, fall to the base earth from the firmament. Thy friends are fled to wait upon thy foes, and crossly to thy good all fortune goes.
Bring forth these men. Bushy and Green, I will not vex your souls, since presently your souls must part your bodies. Yet to wash your blood off from my hands here in the view of men, I will unfold some causes of your deaths. You have misled a prince, a royal king. You have in manner of your sinful hours made a divorce betwixt his queen and him. You stained the beauty of a fair queen's cheek with tears drawn from her eyes by your foul wrongs. myself, a prince by fortune of my birth, near to the king in blood and near in love till you did make him misinterpret me, have stooped my neck under your injuries, eating the bitter bread of banishment, whilst you have fed upon my seigneuries. Dispart my parks, fell my forest woods. From mine own window, torn my household coat, raised on my inquiries, leaving me no sign, save men's opinions and my living blood, to show the world I am a gentleman. This and much more than twice all this, condemns you to the death. See them delivered to execution and the hand of death.
More welcome is the stroke of death to me than Bolingbroke to England. Lords, farewell.
My comfort is that heaven shall take our souls and plague injustice with the pains of hell.
My Lord Northumberland, see them dispatched. Uncle, you say the queen is at your house. For God's sake, fairly let her be entreated. Tell her I send to her my kind commands. Take special care my greetings be delivered.
Gentlemen of mine, I have dispatched the letters of your love to her at large.
Thanks, gentle uncle. Come, lords, away. A while to work, and after, holiday.
How brooks your grace the air after your late tossing on the breaking seas?
Needs must I like it well. Dear earth, I do salute thee with my hand, though rebels wound thee with their horses' hoofs. Feed not thy sovereign's foes, my gentle earth, which with usurping steps do trample thee. Yield stinging nettles to mine enemies, and when they from thy bosom pluck a flower, guard it, I pray thee, with a lurking adder, whose double tongue may with a mortal touch throw death upon thy sovereign's enemies. Mock not my senseless conjurations, lords. This earth shall have a feeling, and these stones prove armored soldiers ere her native king shall falter under foul rebellion's arms.
Fear not, my lord, that power that made you king hath power to keep you king, in spite of all. The means that heavens yield must be embraced, not neglected.
He means, my lord, that we are too remiss, whilst Bolingbroke through our security grows strong and great in substance and in power.
This comfortable cousin, knowest thou not that when the searching eye of heaven is hid, then thieves and robbers do range abroad unseen, in murders and in outrage boldly here. So when this thief, this traitor, Bolingbroke, who all the while hath reveled in the night whilst we were wandering with Antipodes, shall see us rising in our throne, the east, his treasons will sit blushing in his face, not able to endure the sight of day. Not all the water in the rough, rude sea can wash the balm off from an anointed king. The breath of worldly men cannot depose the deputy elected by the Lord. For every man that Bolingbroke hath pressed to lift shrewd steel against our golden crown, God for his Richard hath in heavenly pay a glorious angel. Then, if angels fight, weak men must fall, for heaven still guards the right. Welcome, my lord. How far off lies your power?
Nor near nor farther off, my gracious lord, than this weak arm. One day too late, I fear me, has overthrown thy joys, friends, fortune, and thy state. For all the Welshmen hearing thou wert dead are gone to Bolingbroke, dispersed and fled.
Comfort, my liege. Why looks your grace so pale?
But now the blood of 20,000 men did triumph in my face, and they are fled. Until hither so much blood come again, have I not reason to look pale and dead?
Comfort, my liege. Remember who you are.
I had forgot myself. Am I not king? Awake, thou coward majesty, thou sleepest. Is not the king's name 20,000 names? Arm, arm my name. A puny subject strikes at thy great glory. Look not to the ground, you favorites of a king. Are we not high? High be our thoughts. I know my Uncle York hath power enough to serve our turn. But who comes here?
More health and happiness betide my liege than can my care-tuned tongue deliver him.
Mine ear is open and my heart prepared. The worst is worldly loss thou canst unfold. Say, is my kingdom lost? Why, 'twas my care. What loss is it to be rid of care? Revolt our subjects? That we cannot mend. They break their faith to God, as well as us. Cry woe, destruction, ruin, and decay. The worst is death, and death shall have his day.
Glad am I that your highness is so armed to bear the tidings of calamity. For so high above his limits swells the rage of Bolingbroke, covering your fearful land with hard, bright steel and hearts harder than steel. Against thy seat, both young and old rebel, and all goes worse than I have power to tell.
Too well. Too well thou tell'st a tale so ill. Where is the Earl of Wiltshire? What has become of Bushy? Where is Green? If we prevail, their heads shall pay for it. I warrant they have made peace with Bolingbroke.
Peace have they made with him indeed, my lord.
Villains! Vipers! Damned without redemption! Dogs, easily won to fawn on any man. 3 Judases, each thrice worse than Judas. Would they make peace? Terrible hells make war upon their spotted souls for this.
Again uncurse their souls, for the peace they have made is with their heads, not their hands. Those whom you curse have felt the worst of death's destroying wound, and now lie full low, graved in the hollow ground.
Where is the Duke my father with his power?
No matter where. Let's talk of graves, of worms and epitaphs. Make dust our paper, and with rainy eyes write sorrow on the bosom of the earth. Let's choose executors, and talk of wills. And yet not so. For what can we bequeath save our deposed bodies to the ground? Our lands, our lives, and all are Bolingbroke's. And nothing can we call our own but death, in that small model of the barren earth that serves as paste and cover to our bones. For God's sake, let us sit upon the ground and tell sad stories of the death of kings. For within the hollow crown that rounds the mortal temples of a king keeps death his court. And there the antic sits, infusing him with self and vain conceit, as if this flesh, which walls about our lives, were brass impregnable. And humored thus, comes at the last, and with a little pin bores through his castle wall, and farewell, king. Cover your heads. Mock not flesh and blood with solemn reverence. Throw away respect, for you have but mistook me all this while. I live with bread, like you. Feel want, taste grief, need friends. Subjected thus. How can you say to me I am a king?
Fine. Lord, wise men ne'er sit and wail their woes, but presently prevent the ways to wail. To fear the foe, since fear oppresseth strength, gives in your weakness strength unto your foe, and so your follies fight against yourself.
My father hath the power. Inquire of him and learn to make a body of a limb.
Thou chidest me well. Proud Bolingbroke, I come to exchange blows with thee for our day of doom. Say, Marshal, where lies our uncle with his power?
Your Uncle York is joined with Bolingbroke, and all your northern castles yielded up, and all your southern gentlemen at arms upon his part.
Thou hast said enough. Beshrew thee, cousin, which didst lead me forth of that sweet way I was into despair. What say you now? What comfort have we now? By heaven, I'll hate him everlastingly that bids me be of comfort any more. Go to Flint Castle. There I'll pine away. A king, woe's slave, must kingly woe obey.
My liege, one word.
He does me double wrong that wounds me with the flatteries of his tongue. Dispatch my followers. Let them hence away. From Richard's night to Bolingbroke's fair day. Are dispersed, and Bagot is gone to meet the king.
The news is very fair and good, my lord, and Richard not far from hence hath hit his head.
It would beseem the Lord Northumberland to say King Richard, like the heavy day when such a sacred king should hide his head.
Your grace mistakes. Only to be brief left I his title out.
Mistake not, uncle, further than you should.
Take not, good cousin, further than you should, lest you mistake. The heavens are over our heads.
I know it, uncle, and oppose not myself against their will. But who comes here? Welcome, Axton. What, will not this castle yield?
Castle royally is manned, my lord, against thy entrance.
Royally, why? It contains no king.
Yes, my good lord, it doth contain a king. King Richard lies within the limits of yon lime and stone.
Noble lord, go to the rude ribs of that ancient castle, through brazen trumpets and the breath of parley into his ruined ears, and thus deliver Henry Bolingbroke. On both his knees, doth kiss King Richard's hand, and sends allegiance and true faith of heart to his most royal person, hither come even at his feet to lay my arms in power, provided that my banishment repealed and lands restored again be freely granted. If not, I'll use the advantage of my power and lay the summer's dust with showers of blood rain from the wounds of slaughtered Englishmen. Go. Signify as much while here we march upon the grassy carpet of this plain. Methinks King Richard and myself should meet with no less terror than the elements of fire and water, when their thundering shock at meeting tears the cloudy cheek of heaven. Be he the fire, I'll be the yielding water. The rage be his, whilst on the earth I rain my waters. On the earth and not on him. See, King Richard doth himself appear, as doth the blushing, discontented sun from out the fiery portal of the east, when he perceives the envious clouds are bent to dim his glory.
Yet looks he like a king. Alack, alack for woe that any harm should stain so fair a show.
We are amazed. And thus long have we stood to watch the fearful bending of thy knee, because we thought ourselves thy lawful king. If we be not, show us the hand of God that hath dismissed us from our stewardship. Tell Bolingbroke, for yond methinks he stands, that every stride he makes upon my land is dangerous treason.
The king of heaven forbid, our lord the king, should so with civil and uncivil arms be rushed upon. Thy thrice noble cousin, Harry Bolingbroke, doth humbly kiss thy hand. And by that honorable tomb he swears that stands upon your royal grandsire's bones, and by the buried hand of warlike God, and by the worth and honor of himself, comprising all that may be sworn and said, his coming hither hath no farther scope than for his lineal royalties, and to beg enfranchisement immediate on his knees, which on thy royal party granted once, his glittering arms he'll commend to rust, his barbed steeds to stable, his heart to faithful service to your majesty.
Northumberland, say thus the king returns. His noble cousin is right welcome hither, and all the number of his fair demands shall be accomplished without contradiction. We do debase ourselves, cousin, do we not, to look so poorly and to speak so fair? Shall we call back Northumberland, and send defiance to the traitor, and so die?
No, good my lord. Let's fight with gentle words, till time lends friends and friends their helpful swords.
Oh God, that ere this tongue of mine that laid the sentence of dread banishment on yon proud man should take it off again with words of sooth. Oh, that I were as great as is my grief, or lesser than my name, or that I could forget what I have been, or not remember what I must be now.
Northumberland comes back from Bolingbroke.
What must the king do now? Must he submit? The king shall do it. Must he be deposed? The king shall be contented. Must he lose the name of king? In God's name let it go. I'll give my jewels for a set of beads, my scepter for a palmer's walking staff, my subjects for a pair of carved saints, and my large kingdom for a little grave. A little grave. An obscure grave. Or I'll be buried in the king's highway, some way of common trade where subjects' feet may hourly trample on their sovereign's head. For on my heart they tread now whilst I live, and buried once, why not upon my head? Most mighty prince, my lord Northumberland, what says King Bolingbroke? Will his majesty give Richard leave to live till Richard die? You make a leg, and Bolingbroke says aye.
My lord, in the base court he doth intend to speak with you. May it please you to come down.
Down. Down I come, like glistering Phaeton, wanting the manage of unruly jades in the base court. Base court, where kings grow base, to come at traitors' calls and do them grace. In the base court, come down. Down court, down king, for night owls shriek where mounting larks should sing. What says his majesty?
Sorrow and grief of heart make him speak fondly, like a frantic man, yet he is no.
Stand all apart, show fair duty to his majesty, my gracious lord.
Fair cousin, you debase your princely need to make the base earth proud with kissing it. Up, cousin, up. Your heart is up, I know. Thus high, at least, although your knee be low.
My gracious lord, I come but for mine own.
Your own is yours, and I am yours, and all.
So far be mine, my most redoubted lord, as my true service shall deserve your love.
Well you deserve. They well deserve to have and know the strongest and surest way to get. Uncle, give me your hand. Nay, dry your eyes. Tears show their love, but want their remedies. Cousin, I am too young to be your father, but you are old enough to be my heir. What you will have I'll give, and willing to. For do we must what force will have us do. Sit on towards London, cousin. Is it so? Yea, my good lord. Then I must not say no.
What sport shall we devise here in this garden to drive away the heavy thought of care?
Madam, I'll sing.
'Tis well that thou hast cause, but thou shouldst please me better wouldst thou weep.
I could weep, madam, would it do you good?
And I could sing, would weeping do me good, and never borrow any tear of thee. But stay, here come the gardeners. Let's step into the shadow of these trees. They will talk of state, for everyone not so against a change. Close or run before.
Go, bind thou up young dangling apricots, which, like unruly children, make their sires stoop with oppression of their prodigal wing. You, thus employed, I will go root away the noisome weeds which without profit suck the soil's fertility from wholesome flowers.
Why should we, in the compass of a pale, keep law and form and due proportion? From our seawall garden, the whole land is full of weeds. Her fairest flowers choked up, her nos disordered, and her wholesome herbs swarming with caterpillars.
Hold thy peace.
he that hath suffered this disordered spring hath now himself met with the fall of leaf. The weeds, which his broad spreading leaves did shelter, are plucked up, root and all, by Bolingbroke. I mean the Earl of Wiltshire, bushy, green.
Oh, well, are they dead?
They are! And Bolingbroke hath seized the wasteful king. Ah, what pity is it that he had not so trimmed and dressed his land as we this garden. We, at time of year, do wound the bark, the skin of our fruit trees, lest being overproud in sap and blood, with too much riches it confound itself. Had he done so to great and growing men, they might have lived to bear, and he to taste their fruits of duty. Superfluous branches we lop away, that bearing boughs may live. Had he done so, himself had borne the crown, which waste of idle hours hath quite thrown down.
What, think you the king shall be deposed?
Depressed he is already, and deposed 'tis doubt he will be.
Thou old Adam's like this, set to dress this garden. How dares thy harsh, rude tongue sound this unpleasing news? Why dost thou say the king will be deposed? Darest thou little better thing than earth divine his downfall? Say where, when, and how camest thou by these ill tidings? Speak, thou wretch!
Pardon me, madam. Little joy have I to breathe this news, yet what I say is true. King Richard, he is in the mighty hold of Bolingbroke. Their fortunes both are weighed. In your lord's scale is nothing but himself and some few vanities that make him light. But in the balance of great Bolingbroke, besides himself are all the English peers, and with that odds he weighs King Richard down. Post you to London and you will find it so. I speak no more than everyone doth know.
Nimble mischance that art so light of foot. Doth not the message belong to me, and am I the last who knows it? Come, lady, go to meet at London, London's king and woe. And gardener, for telling me this news of woe, pray God the plants thou grantest may never grow.
Poor queen, so that thy state might be no worse, I would my skill were subject to thy curse. Here did she fall a tear. Here, in this place, I'll set a bank of rue, sour herb of grace. Rue even for Ruth here shortly shall be seen, in the remembrance of a weeping queen.
Now, Bagot, freely speak thy mind. What thou dost know of noble Gloucester's death, who brought it with the king, and who performed the bloody office of his timeless end?
Then set before my face the Lord O'Merle.
Cousin, stand forth and look upon that man.
My Lord O'Merle, I know your daring tongue scorns to unsay what once it hath delivered. In that dead time, when Gloucester's death was plotted, I heard you say is not mine arm of length that reacheth from the restful English court as far as Calais to mine uncle's head. I heard you say you had rather refuse the offer of 100,000 crowns than Bolingbroke's return to England, adding withal how blessed this land would be in this your cousin's death.
Princes and noble lords, what answer shall I make to this base man? Shall I so much dishonor my fair stars on equal terms to give him chastisement? Either I must, or have my honor thrown with the attainder of his slanderous lips. There's my gage, the manual seal of death that marks thee out for hell. I say thou liest.
Bagot, forbear. Thou shalt not take it up.
Excepting one I would he were the best in all this presence that hath moved me so.
If that thy valor stand on sympathy, there is my gage, O Merle, engaged to thine. I heard thee say, and vauntingly thou spakest it, that thou wert cause of noble Gloucester's death. Thou deniest it 20 times thou liest.
Thou darest not, coward, live to see that day.
Now by my soul I would it were this hour.
Fitzwater, thou art damned to hell for this!
I cast thee to the light, forsworn Earl, and spur thee on with full as many lies as may be hollowed in thy treacherous ear, from sun to sun.
Who sets me out? By heaven I'll throw all!
Bonded us to spur a forward horse. There's my bond of faith to tie me to my strong correction. Merle is guilty of my true appeal. Besides, I heard the banished Mowbray say that thou, O Merle, didst send 2 of thy men to execute the noble Duke at Galley.
Some honest Christians rest me with a gage!
These differences shall all rest under gage till Mowbray be repealed. Till Mowbray be repealed. Repealed he shall be, and though mine enemy restored again to all his lands and seigneuries. When he is returned from Almro, we will enforce his trial.
That honorable day shall never be seen.
Why, Bishop, is Mowbray dead?
As surely as I live, my lord.
Sweet peace conduct his sweet soul to the bosom of good old Abraham. Lords appellants, your differences shall all rest under gage till we assign you to your days of trial.
Great Duke of Lancaster, I come to thee from plume-plucked Richard, who with willing soul adopts the heir, and his high sceptre yields to the possession of thy royal hand. Ascend his throne, descending now from him, and long live Henry, 4th of that name.
In God's name, I'll ascend the regal throne.
Mary, God forbid. Would God that any in this noble presence were enough noble to be upright judge of noble Richard. What subject can give sentence on his king? And who sits here that is not Richard's subject? Shall the figure of God's majesty, anointed, crowned, planted many years, be judged by subject and inferior breath? And he himself not present? Oh, forfended God! My lord of Hereford here, whom you call king, is a foul traitor of the proud Hereford's king. And if you crown him, let me prophesy. The blood of English shall manure the ground, and future ages groan for this foul act. Disorder, horror, fear, and mutiny shall here inhabit. In this land be called the field of Golgotha, and dead men's skulls. If you raise this house against this house, it will the woefulest division prove that ever fell upon this cursed earth.
Well, have you argued, sir, and for your pains, of capital treason we arrest you here. May it please you, lords, to grant the common suit.
Fetch hither Richard, that in common view he may surrender, so that we may avoid suspicion.
I will be his conduct.
Lords, you that here are under our arrest, little are you looked at for your love, and little beholding for your helping hands. Alack! Why am I sent for to a king before I have shook off the regal thoughts wherewith I reigned? I hardly yet have learned to insinuate, flatter, bow or bend my knee. Give sorrow leave a while to tutor me to this submission. Yet well I remember the favors of these men. Were they not mine? Did they not sometime cry, "All hail," to me? So Judas did to Christ. But he, in 12, found truth in all but one. I, in 12,000, none. God save the king! Will no man say amen? God save the king, although I be not he. And yet amen, if heaven do think him me. To do what service am I sent for hither?
To do that office of thine own goodwill, the resignation of the state and crown to Henry Bolingbroke.
Give me the crown. cousin. Seize the crown. Here, cousin. On this side my hand, on that side thine. Now is this golden crown like a deep well that owes two buckets, filling one another, the emptier ever dancing in the air, the other down, unseen and full of water. That bucket down and full of tears am I, drinking my griefs whilst you mount up on high. I thought you had been willing to resign. My crown I am, but still my griefs are mine. You may my glories and my state depose, but not my griefs. Still am I king of those. Are you contented to resign the crown? No, I. For I must nothing be. Therefore, no, for I resign to thee. Now mark me how I will undo myself. I give this heavy weight from off my head, and this unwieldy scepter from my hand, the pride of kingly sway from out my heart. With mine own tears, I wash away my balm. With mine own hands, I give away my crown. With mine own tongue, deny my sacred state. With mine own breath, release all duteous oaths. All pomp and majesty I do forswear. Make me that nothing have, with nothing grieved. And thou, with all pleased, that hast all achieved. Long mayst thou live in Richard's seat to sit, and soon lie Richard in an earthly pit. God save King Henry, unkinged Richard says, and send him many years of sunshine days. What more remains?
No more, but that you read these accusations and grievous crimes committed by your person and your followers against the state and profit of this land, that by confessing the souls of men may deem that you are worthily deposed.
Must I do so? Must I ravel out my weaved up follies? Gentle Northumberland, if thy offences were upon record, would it not shame thee in so fair a troop to read a lecture of them? If thou wouldst, there shouldst thou find one heinous article containing the deposing of a king, marked with a blot, damned in the book of heaven. Nay, all of you that stand and look upon me whilst at my wretchedness doth fade myself, showing outward pity. Yet you pilots have here delivered me to my sour cross, and water cannot wash away your stain.
My lord, dispatch, read over these articles.
Mine eyes are full of tears, I cannot see. And yet salt water blinds them not so much, but they can see a sort of traitors here. Nay, if I turn mine eyes upon myself, I find myself a traitor with the rest. For I have given here my soul's consent to undeck the pompous body of a king, made glory base, sovereignty a slave, proud majesty a subject, state a peasant.
My lord!
No lord of thine, thou hot insulting man, nor no man's lord. I have no name, no title, no not that was given me at the font, but 'tis usurped. Alack, the heavy day that I have worn so many winters out, and know not now what name to call myself. If my word be sterling yet in England, let it command me hither straight, that it may show me what a face I have, since it is robbed of his majesty. Go, some of you, fetch a looking glass.
Read over this paper while the glass doth come.
Fiend, thou torment'st me ere I come to hell. My lord Northumberland, urge it no further.
The commons will not then be satisfied.
They shall be satisfied. I'll read enough when I see that very book indeed where all my sins are writ, and that's myself. Give me the glass, and therein will I read. No deeper wrinkles yet? Hath sorrow struck so many blows upon this face of mine and made no deeper wounds? Is this the face that, like the sun, did make beholders wink? Is this the face that faced so many follies that was at last outfaced by Bolingbroke? Brittle glory shineth in this face, as brittle as the glory is the face. For there it is cracked in 100 shivers. Mark, silent king, the moral of this sport. How soon my sorrows have destroyed my face. The shadow of your sorrows hath destroyed the shadow of your face. Say that again. It's true. My grief lies all within, and these external manners of laments are merely shadows to the unseen grief that swells in silence in the tortured soul. I'll beg one boon, and then be gone and trouble you no more. Shall I obtain it? Name it, fair cousin. Fair cousin? I am greater than a king, for when I was a king, my flatterers were then but subjects. Being now a subject, I have a king here to my flatterer. Yet ask! And shall I have? You shall. Then give me leave to go. Whither? Whither you will, so I were from your sights. Go, some of you. Convey him to the tower. Oh, good. Convey. Conveyors are you all that rise thus nimbly by a true king's fall.
On Wednesday next, we solemnly set down our coronation. Lords, prepare yourselves.
Woeful pageant here beheld. More woes to come. The children yet unborn shall feel this day as sharp to them as thorn.
You holy clergyman, is there no plot to rid the realm of this pernicious blot?
My lord, come home with me to supper. I'll lay a plot shall show us all of merit.
This way the king will come.
But soft, but see, or rather do not see my fair rose wither.
Yet look up. Behold that I in pity may dissolve to dew and wash him fresh again with true love tears. Thou map of honor, thou King Richard's tomb, and not King Richard.
Join not with grief, fair woman. Learn, good soul, to think our former state a happy dream, from which awaked, the truth of what we are shows us but this. I am sworn brother sweet to grim necessity, and he and I shall keep the league till death. Hie thee to France and cloister thee in some religious house. Our holy lives must win a new world's crown, which our profane hours here have thrown down.
What? Is my Richard both in shape and mind transformed and weakened? The lion, dying, thrusted forth his paw and wounds the earth, if nothing else with rage to be o'erpowered. And wilt thou, pupil-like, take the correction, mildly kiss the rod, and fawn on base humility, which art a lion and a king of beasts?
A king of beasts indeed! If aught but beasts, I have been still a happy king of men. Good sometime, queen, prepare thee hence for France. Think that I am dead, that even now thou takest as from my deathbed thy last living leave. In winter's tedious nights, sit by the fire with good old folks and let them tell thee tales of woeful ages long ago betide. And ere thou bid good night, to quiet their griefs,
Tell thou the lamentable tale of me. And some will mourn in ashes, some coal black for the deposing of a rightful king.
My lord, the mind of Bolingbroke is changed. You must to Pomfret and not into the tower. And lady, order has been taken for you. You must with all swift speed away to France.
Northumberland, thou ladder wherewithal the mounting Bolingbroke ascends my throne. The time shall not be many hours of age, more than it is. Your foul sin, gathering head, shall break into corruption. Thou shalt think that though he divide the realm and give thee half, it is too little, helping him to all. He shall think that thou, which knowest the way to plant unrightful kings, wilt know again.
My guilt be on my head, and there an end. Take leave and part, for part you must forthwith.
Doubly divorced! Bad men, you violate a twofold marriage, twixt my crown and me, and then betwixt me and my married wife. Part us, Northumberland. I towards the north, my wife to France, from whence, set forth in pomp, she came adorned hither like sweet May, sent back like Hallowmas, shortest of day.
And must we be divided? Must we part?
Aye. Hand from hand, my love, and heart from heart.
Banish us both, and send the king with me.
That would be some love, but little policy.
Then whither he goes, thither let me go.
Weep thou for me in France, I for thee here. Better far off than near be near than near. Come, come, and wooing sorrow let's be brief, since wedding it there is such length in grief. One kiss shall stop our mouths and dumbly part. Thus give I mine, and take I thy heart.
Give me mine own again. 'Twere no good part to take on me to keep and kill thy heart. So now I have mine own again. Begone, that I might strive to kill it with a groan.
War wants to respond to life. Once more. The rest let sorrow say.
My lord, you told me you would tell the rest when leaving me. Do you break the story off of our two cousins coming into London?
Where did I leave?
At that sad stop, my lord, where rude, misgoverned hands from window tops threw dust and rubbish on King Richard's head.
Then, as I said, the Duke, great Bolingbroke, mounted on a hot and fiery steed, which his aspiring rider seemed to know, slow but stately pace, kept on his course, whilst all tongues cried, God save thee, Bolingbroke! Jesu, preserve thee! Welcome, Bolingbroke! Whilst he from the one side to the other turning, bespake them thus, I thank you, countrymen.
Alas, poor Richard, where wrote he the whiles?
As in a theatre, the eyes of men after a well-graced actor leaves the stage, are idly bent on him that enters next, thinking his prattle to be tedious. Even so, with much more contempt, his eyes did scowl on gentle Richard. No man cried, God save him, but dust was thrown upon his sacred head, which with such gentle sorrow he shook off, his face still combating with tears and smiles, that had not God, for some strong purpose, steeled the hearts of men, they must perforce have melted. But heaven hath a hand in these events, to whose high will we bound our calm contents. To Bolingbroke are we sworn subjects now, whose state and honour eye for eye allow.
Here comes my son Omar. Welcome, my son. Who are the violets now that strew the green lap of the new-come spring?
Madam, I know not, nor I greatly care not. God knows I had his leaf being on his one.
Well, fare ye well in this new spring of time, lest you be cropped before you come to prime. Seal is that which hangs without thy bosom. Hey, dost thou hail? Let me see the writing.
My lord, 'tis nothing.
A matter then who see it. I will be satisfied. Let me see the writing.
I do beseech your grace to pardon me. It is a matter of small consequence, which for some reasons I would not have seen.
Which for some reasons, sir, I mean to see. Boy, let me see the writing.
I do beseech you, pardon me, I may not show it.
I will be satisfied, I say. Look, let me see it. Treason! Foul treason! Villain! Traitor! Slave!
What is the matter, my lord?
Give me my boots, I say. Saddle my horse. Now, by my life, by mine honor, by my troth, I will impeach the villain.
What is the matter?
Peace, foolish woman.
I will not peace. What is the matter, Wilbur?
Good mother, be content. It is no more than my poor life must answer.
Thy life answer?
Bring me my boots! I will answer the king.
Why, York, what wilt thou do? Wilt thou not hide the trespass of thine own? Have he more sons? Is he not like thee? Is he not thine own?
That fond, mad woman, wilt thou conceal this dark conspiracy? A dozen of them here have taken the sacrament and interchangeably set down their hands to kill the king at Oxford.
He shall be none. We'll keep him here, then what is that to him?
Away, fond woman, were he 20 times my son, I would impeach him. Make way. Unruly woman.
After over, mount the horse, post, and get before him to the king. And beg your pardon ere he do accuse thee. I'll not be long behind, though I be old, I doubt not, but to ride as fast as York, and never will I rise up from the ground till Bolingbroke have pardoned thee. Oh, be gone!
Can no man tell me of my unthrifty son? I would to God, my lord, he might be found. Inquire at London, amongst the taverns there. For there they say he daily doth frequent with unrestrained, loose companions, while he, young one and effeminate boy, takes on the point of honor to support so dissolute a crew. But who comes here?
God save your grace, I do beseech your majesty to have some conference with your grace alone.
Withdraw yourselves. Leave us here alone. What is the matter with our cousin now?
Forever may my knees grow to the earth unless a pardon ere I rise or speak.
Intended or committed was this fault? If on the first, how heinous ere it be, to win thy after love I pardon thee.
Then give me leave that I may turn the key, that no man enter till my tale be done.
Have thy desire?
My liege, beware! Lose thyself! Thou hast a traitor in thy presence there!
Villain!
Stay out your vengeful hand! Thou hast no cause to fear!
Open the door, or I will break it open!
What is the matter, uncle? Speak! Recover breath. Tell us how near is danger.
Peruse this writing here, and thou shalt know.
Remember as thou readst thy promise past, and to repent me, read not my name there.
I tore it from the traitor's bosom, king. Fear, and not love begets his penitence.
Oh, heinous, strong, and bold conspiracy! A loyal father of a treacherous son. Thy abundant goodness shall excuse this deadly blot in thy digressing son.
So shall my virtue be his vice's forge, and he shall spare mine honor with his shame.
What ho, my liege! For God's sake, let me aid!
What shrill-voiced suppliant makes this eager cry?
A woman
listen.
Oh, King! Believe not this hard-hearted man!
Thou frantic woman, what dost thou make here?
Sweet Lord, be fishing! Hear me, gentle liege.
Rise up, good aunt.
Not yet, I thee beseech. Forever will I walk upon my knees, till thou give me joy, until thou bid me joy by pardoning my transgressing boy.
Unto my mother's prayers I bend my knee.
Against them both, my true joints bended be.
Pleads he in earnest. Look upon his face. He prays but faintly and will be denied. We pray with heart and soul and all beside.
Good aunt, stand.
Nay, do not say stand up. Say pardon first, and afterwards stand up. Say pardon first, great king, let pity teach thee how.
I pardon him, as God shall pardon me.
Oh, happy vantage of a kneeling knee.
But as for the rest of this consorted crew, destruction straight shall dog them at the heels. Good uncle, help to order several powers to Oxford or where these traitors are. They shall not live in this world, I swear. Uncle, farewell. And cousin, adieu. Well hath your mother prayed and prove you true.
Come, my old son, I pray God will make thee new.
Dost thou not mark the king, what words he spake? Have I no friend will rid me of this living fear? Meaning the king at Pomfret. Have I no friend, quoth he? He urged it twice and spake it twice together, did he not? He did. And speaking it, he wishly looked on me. Come, let's go. I'm the king's friend, will rid his foe.
And here is not a creature but myself. I cannot do it. Yet I'll hammer it out. My brain I'll prove the female to my soul the father, and these two beget a generation of still breathing thoughts, in humors like the people of this world. No thought is contented. Thoughts tending to ambition, they do plot unlikely wonders, how these vain, weak nails may tear a passage through the flinty ribs of this hard world, my ragged prison walls. And for they cannot, die in their own pride. Thoughts tending to content do flatter themselves that they are not the first of fortune's slaves, nor shall not be the last. Like silly beggars who, sitting in the stocks, refuge their shame in that many have, and others must sit there. And in this, they find a kind of ease. Thus play I, in one person, many people, and none contented. Sometimes am I king, then crushing penury, then treasons make me wish myself a beggar, and so I am. Then crushing penury persuades me I was better when a king. Then am I king again. And by, think that I'm unkinged by Bolingbroke. And straight am nothing. But whate'er I be, nor I nor any man that but man is, with nothing shall be pleased, till he be eased with being nothing. Music do I hear? Keep time. How sour sweet music is when time is broken, no proportion kept. So is it in the music of men's lives. I wasted time, and now time doth waste me. This music mads me, let it sound no more. For though it have hold madmen to their wits, and me it seems it will make wise men mad. yet blessings on his heart that gives it me. For 'tis a sign of love, and love, to Richard, is a strange brooch in this all-hating world.
Hail, royal prince.
Thanks, noble peer. The cheapest of us is 10 groats too dear. What art thou, and how comest thou hither where no man never comes but that sad dog which brings me food to make misfortune live?
I was a poor groom of thy stable, king, when thou wert king, who traveling towards York with much ado at length have gotten leave to look upon my sometime royal master's face. How it earned my heart when I beheld in London streets that coronation day, when Bolingbroke rode on roan Barbary.
Rode he on Barbary? Tell me, gentle friend, how went he under him?
So proudly as if he disdained the ground.
So proud that Bolingbroke was on his back. That jade had made bread from my royal hand! Would he not stumble? Would he not fall down, since pride must have a fall and break the neck of that proud man which should usurp his back? Forgiveness. Poor spite of I bear love thee. Since thou was created to be awed by man and was born to bear. I was not made a horse, yet I bear a burden like an ass. Spurred, galled, and tired by jouncing Bolingbroke.
Fellow, give place. Here is no longer stay.
If thou love me, 'tis time thou wert away.
What my tongue dares not, that my heart shall say.
My lord, 'twill please you to fall too.
Taste of it first, as thou art wont to do.
My lord, I dare not. Sir Pierce of Exton, who lately came from the king, demands the contrary.
The devil take Henry of Lancaster and thee. Patience is stale, and I'm weary of it!
Help! Help! Help!
How now? What means death in this rude assault? Villain! Thy own hand yields thy death's instrument. Go thou and fill another room in hell. That hand shall burn a never-quenching fire that staggers thus my person. Exton, thy fierce hand hath, with the king's blood, stained the king's own land. Mount, mount, my soul. Thy seat is up on high, whilst my gross flesh sinks downward, here to die.
Full of valor as of royal blood, both have I spilled. Oh, would that the deed were good, for now the devil had told me I did well. Says that this deed is chronicled in hell.
Thy kingly doom and sentence of his pride.
Carlyle, this is your doom. Choose out some secret place, some reverend room, more than thou hast, and with it joy thy life. For thou livest in peace, die free from strife. For though mine enemy thou hast ever been, high sparks of honor in thee have I seen.
Great King, in this coffin I present thy buried fear. Herein all breathless lies the mightiest of thy greatest enemies, Richard of Bordeaux by me hither brought.
Exton, I thank thee not, for thou hast wrought a deed of slander with thy fatal hand upon my head and all this famous land.
From your own mouth, my lord, did I this deed.
Though I did wish him dead, I hate the murderer. Love him, murderer. The guilt of conscience take thy for thy labor, but neither my good word nor princely favor. Go with Cain through shades of night, and never show thy head by day nor light. Lords, I protest, my soul is full of woe, that blood should sprinkle me to make me grow. Come mourn with me for what I do lament, and put on sullen black incontinent. I'll make a voyage to the Holy Land to wash this blood off from my guilty hand. March sadly after, grace my mourning spirit, in weeping after this untimely bier.